Hey, give me a second. I know I probably was very sad and screwed up. Whatever. If you're going through something and you're looking online for something, just chill out with me. Enjoy my hecticness for a minute. Okay. Here. Of course not. And I look like I'm totally messed up. So we're just going to hold this here because I don't know where else to put this. Turn that off because it's probably going to make you feel anxious. And we don't want that. I look weird, don't I? It's okay. I've been through hell more than once. This isn't about me. This isn't about you. This isn't about anybody. This is about there's people in the world going through stuff that makes them think they're crazy. And I don't like it. I just woke up, by the way, like an hour ago. And I had a few panic attacks yesterday, a few today. And right now I'm actually having a ton of anxiety. So I figured now's a good time to make a video to find the rest of you going through this stuff. But doom scroll online for comfort. Maybe you'll come across this and be like, what the fuck? It'll help. I apologize for the dentures and the placement of my mouth and how I speak. I went to the dentist yesterday. I did not get my dentures adjusted properly. And I had some cavity fillings done, which have been interesting. So it's been an interesting day since yesterday. I've been alone in this apartment since the issues from the dentist arose. And I've had to sit here calming myself down. Despite the pain, despite the fear, despite all that stuff, I've had to find a center point. And I just got done crying too. So if you're crying, it's okay. I don't care. Like, you're not being judged. I don't know what you've heard of me. Hopefully it's good stuff or accurate stuff at the least. And yay, the sun's coming out. I'm not going to give you any advice. I'm not going to tell you it's all going to be okay. I'm not going to tell you, you're wrong for feeling what you're feeling, thinking what you're thinking. It doesn't matter. It just does not matter. What matters right now to me is that I feel better, that I feel more like myself. And if you're going through something that's causing you anxiety, you're probably looking for the same thing. Something to ground, bring you back into yourself, and to grind away the bad stuff that isn't yours. But we're not going to, nope, just sit here. Those thoughts you keep thinking that are telling you this or that does not matter. Don't give them an emotional conversation. You're supposed to play a role here, aren't you? Fuck it. You're more important than a role. You're supposed to be prim and proper, fit and poised. You're supposed to be always normal like the rest, but they're not normal. You're not normal. There is no normal. I have complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And apparently I've had autism my entire life that I didn't know about until recently. And I've been doing some research, and it seems like many people who are diagnosed with any form of autism, anxiety disorders, ADHD and stuff like that, they're not broken. You are not broken. You're a puzzle piece that's near a puzzle, near the part of the puzzle that you're not fit for. So your puzzle piece goes somewhere else. Let's say you're working in a corporate field and you're artsy and nobody else really understands anything that you're explaining to them. That's not your fault. Your mind had attracted you to that environment, your ego, your whatever you want to call it, so that you can learn something. Whether that's whatever it is, it's up to you. The whole point of it is that you learn something and gain some wisdom, and you put that wisdom into practice. I've learned recently that the more I keep avoiding talking to you guys on the internet, the more I feel like a ghost. And when I feel like a ghost, my mind becomes the loudest thing. That's the same thing for a lot of people. And if you're like me, isolated, single, alone, like living alone, you know what I mean? And how people try to tell you, you're never alone. Technically true, but physically some of us are alone. And no amount of videos or self-coddling or food or taking walks or breathing exercises is going to make up for the fact that some of us are just alone, and our love language probably consists of affection. So these things going on in your heads, they don't have one simple solution, especially if you've been diagnosed with autism of any kind, because your brain wires things differently, learned and learning experiences. Your tears that you cried are not useless. Your anxiety isn't useless. Your panic isn't useless. You are not supposed to run from them. You are not supposed to, deny emotions. You're not supposed to be no thoughts, no feelings, no emotions. You are alive. You are in the cosmic, celestial goo of existence. Technically, even Jesus Christ said that heaven is already here. We're there. We just can't see it because of the mind, right? The mind tells us, it creates images, it analyzes data and gives us something to see through the eyes. Which is also why Christ said, if your eye be single, you'll be full of light. It doesn't mean you're going to be a light bulb, though it could. But remember when you're feeling better, and remember when you're not feeling better. There's a difference, right? It's like there's a luminescence that's not there. Now, we can also go through this a little scientifically and genetically and recognize that water. Henry, I swear to God, I love you, but you are like the puzzle piece that just wants to be put everywhere that doesn't fit for a cat. This is Henry, by the way. He's a little Russian blue, and he's adorable, and he's my best friend. And he goes everywhere he shouldn't. And his favorite place to sleep is the keyboard. It's absurd. Anyway, all that aside, it doesn't matter. I've been trying to distract your mind. So let's do something different. The other day I saw a video from a young lady, barely in her 20s, telling the internet, what she's been going through due to autism and all the stress and pain she goes through and stuff. And then she was showing clips of other people going through that stuff. And the things they were saying, I go through daily, repeatedly. And I've always wondered, like, why does God hate me so much to make me suffer so much? I still don't have an accurate answer, one that satisfies the mind, body, and spirit. Because it even boggles my mind how I've survived so much stuff. But after seeing that video, I recognized something. What I went through repeatedly has numbed me to the pain of what some of you are going through for the first time. So to you, I might seem really cold, evil, scary, heartless. I can guarantee you I'm none of those things, but I can be. And before you get to that point where you become that way, I guess I'm here to send you a little glimmer of light, to tell you there's nothing wrong with you. There are multiple different versions of existence. There are infinite people. There are infinite variations, but there is one source, one God, one being. I don't know how it all works. I'm not going to tell you, like, try to make it make sense to you, because it's God doing God. I don't know. But what I can tell you is when you try to block off your emotions, it does not work. So when you're feeling that anxiety, the panic, the depression, isolation, post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms, ADHD stuff, when you're reaching for that pill bottle, the marijuana, the cigarettes, the alcohol, whatever, give yourself a 3-second pause before you touch that object and attempt to recognize what it is you're trying to drown out. It reminds me of a scene in The Last Unicorn, where the unicorn is on the balcony and she's singing to Molly Grew. And at the end of it, she's walking back into the castle and she gets encountered by the prince who's written her a love letter. And she looks at him and he's like, "Forgive me, my lady, I startled you." And she's like, "No, no, it's fine." She continues to walk and he's like, "What can I do for you?" And she stops and turns around and it's like her heart speaks and says, "Drown out what wants me to remember it. Keep me from remembering whoever it is I was." And I want you to recognize your mind, because your heart is like a child. Innocence, it's in your heart, no matter who you are, no matter how old you are. Your mind is like your computer. Recognize that. Your heart is a child, your mind is a computer. Your instinct, your intuition, your gut feelings, that's your parent. And then the field around you, the air, the water, the fire, the spirit, the source, the light, the shadows, the dance of leaves in the wind. God, Gaia, Christ. So when you're listening to the computer, as if you're sitting there scrolling, looking for a thumbnail or a video title, or someone's face that looks like yours, or someone's face that looks weird and it grabs your attention, pay attention, because your mind is looking for your heart, and your heart is looking for its parent. Breathe. Sit. Breathe. Now, I'm going to remind your soul of a story that's ingrained in your genetics. You ready? In some life, in some experience, the God within you, the goddess within you, experienced the story of Demeter and Persephone and Hades. Think of yourself the one reading the story. Demeter would be the mother within you. Persephone would be the innocence within you, the laughter, the child who had its face held by its mother when it was needing soothing, the little kid who, you held your parents' hand when you were walking, the little kid who sat there and watched cartoons, read books, looked at stars, and wished for a better day. The one who sat down and stared at flowers and wondered what they think and what they feel. Your mind was being used properly by that child. Now, the mind in these days has turned into Hades. And there's stories about Hades, put those aside. Whether good or bad is irrelevant. But it's turned into the underworld, as if your body has been upside down. The mind is supposed to be the satellite, the transmitter, the computing system. It's not supposed to lead your heart or your guts. Your heart is supposed to send an energetic signal to the mind, so the mind can process something or to analyze something or to give you an answer on something. From there, it trickles down into the guts to where your gut tells you if it's true or not. Your mind cannot tell you if something is true or not. If Demeter went to Hades and asked him what happened to Persephone, he wouldn't tell her. If she went to all the gods and asked them what happened, they wouldn't really know. There's so many different ways that story's been told, hasn't there? But the basic line of it is a mother losing her child. And we are all mothers and we are all fathers. Where is the child in you? That child is the one that has the panic attacks, the anxiety. That child is the one who sits and looks at a computer waiting for comfort, for some word of validation, some soothing, some resonance of your pain being valid, of what you've been through being noticed, of how you feel being okay to feel. And if you found this video, I'm telling you, you're fine. I know it doesn't feel like it, but you're fine. What can you do? Nothing I tell you to do will work. Because it's you having to decide within your heart that you love the way you feel when you feel good, more than you love the way you feel when you're looking for comfort. Remember when you were a child and you'd cry and you'd make facial expressions, you would, how like, I'm gonna use my face as an example. There's like lines here, right? Little things. Sorry if I get disconnected. Henry's trying to walk over the keyboard again. So let's use, do I have any of these? Let's pretend. So lines here. I'm going to distract you real quick from your mind, okay? We're going to use it beneficially. These lines here. People usually see them and say marionette lines, or they say snooty, bitchy face, right? If you actually study the human body, like I have, in multiple lifetimes, you'd recognize these only form, these lines your grandparents had, some of your parents, some of you, depending on the age, or your stress levels. Those lines aren't just from anger. When people go, it's not just from that. Because when you were a child, just like I've seen my niece, my siblings, my other family members, and people, TV, when people cry, you squinch their face, right? Well, when you've cried so much, guess what happens to the muscles underneath your face? They get stuck in that phase, in that state of. So then you develop these. You develop these. You develop these. But if people don't know that you've been suffering, or they have no compassion, they look at you and say you're either mean or you're a bitch or you're ugly. Face information number 2, the nose. Some of you have issues with your nose. I know I have since I was little. I went to the store earlier and people were laughing at me walking down the street because of my nose. Legit laughing at me. And I was like, they're laughing at God's work, not mine. But the reason the nose goes down, you know how they say the witch has the crooked hook nose? The nose only droops here energetically when the connection between the mind, the heart, and the inner minor solar plexus within the mouth, the minor chakra point, gets ignored from the magic coming from you and around you to come out of you. So when the magic drips down through you and you don't use it, the insights, the intuition, the things that roll off the tip of your tongue or the tip of your nose, and you let them down, this happens. Isn't it funny that the lack of practicing magical work and spiritual work to maintain your energy, to maintain your state, to bring in what you want, to work with God and the universe and the forces, to not do that creates this face. And this face is the same face as a child crying for a mother or father's love. Weird, isn't it? Look at society for a minute and all these people in the world, all these various different ages, all the problems, all the drama. What's the one thing that's the same in everybody? It doesn't matter if you're a villain or a hero. Everyone is trying to find their inner self and their parent. You know, when they say the most powerful sound in the universe is Om, but you know how this world has always been kind of shady and lying to all of us? It wasn't just Om. What if it was God standing at the edge of existence prior to the Big Bang? And the only word they could come up with to create heaven on earth, heaven, utopia, existence, was a feeling, a word, a sensation, a neural network pattern, a knowing, to which the only thing that can describe it is home or mom. But we're told it's Om. But we've even been told God has a mother. A mother's love is priceless. A father's support is priceless. Even God's required. And when it's not there, we look to the mind to recreate those experiences and sensations. And after a while, we forget that we're doing it. And that's the trickling effect of how narcissism is formed in people, how the dark breaks apart the light, tearing apart families, tearing apart the sense of self, wiping memories out. I told you guys this years ago regarding how the archons influence people in one of those Archons and Aeons 101 videos. They alter memories. They alter a lot of things. And that's their job. Or at least it was. I don't know how the world is here. I don't even really know which dimension I'm in. I don't know if this is heaven. I don't really know if I'm alive. I don't really know. And may you never reach that point. So I'm hoping that this video, where the normal people, seems like it's word salad and just all over the place, but to you guys that are the misfits, the autistic ones, the mentally unstable ones, the ones who were bonkers, the ones who were forgotten or left behind, the ones who didn't have parents to coddle them or care for them or to soothe them, the ones who don't have friends, etc. You guys comprehend what I'm saying perfectly because your neural network has been altered. Now, if you focus on the mind, sorry, I'm looking at all these trucks and cars outside. Not that you can see, because it seems like I'm in the white hot room yet again. When you focus on that mind and you try to find a solution through there, the mind will take you for a spin. And it will only give you what you've already experienced. It cannot create something new unless you use your heart and your guts with it and your intuition and your spirit's power. So I'm going to tell you what someone told me a long time ago and I didn't listen. And in a way I wasn't supposed to, so I could sit here and tell you this stuff too. And everything else I'm supposed to be telling you and sharing with you, the books I'm supposed to be writing, the leadership I'm supposed to be enacting, the groups and communities I'm supposed to build, the websites, the card decks, the, whatever the fuck I'm supposed to do in this life. After all the shit I've been through, it's like, nope, still more expected of me. Okay. The pain will never stop. The sadness, the sorrow, the grief, the panic, the anxiety, it will always in some way be there. In you or in someone else, everywhere and everyone, it doesn't matter. Pocahontas, the cartoon, there's a line that says, "Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?" Energy, emotions are energy in motion. Energy is everywhere. Energy is fluid. Energy can be light. Energy can be sound. Energy can be vibration, whatever, right? Those negative forms of energy processing exist within you, just like hot water and cold water exist in the faucet. You have to become a version of yourself that isn't the version of you that submits to the trickery of the mind, and the mind is only trying to help you. Despite what people tell you about how evil the mind is, it's not the mind that's evil. Because the mind is trying to find some way to fit, to be present, to be here, but it doesn't know what to do because the heart goes chaotic. The heart goes chaotic because it lacks nutrients or food or comfort or whatever the heck it needs to feel within the physical body that it's pumping blood to. So you have to find that version of you. Not the ideal version, not the superhero version, not the glorified goddess, god, deity, empress, emperor, fuck it all. Right now, you're being asked to find a version of you that can look at those emotions and say with complete calmness that you choose to feel something better. It's a choice. And I know it sounds like you'd have to go arrogant or prideful or vindictive or vengeful or angry to get into that point of, not being affected by those negative emotions. And that's technically true. But remember, you're painting with the colors of the wind. You use a little bit of red, use a little bit of blue, use a little bit of green, use a little bit of some other color. Use pink, use green, until you get to clear light. Just pure clear light. You see this light here? It's white light when it touches. Behind, it's dark light. If I light a purple light bulb, the white becomes neon fluorescent, the black becomes purple. So is this black or is this purple? So is panic you're feeling panic, or is it a need for love? Is your body in pain because you want to feel pain? Or is your body in pain because it's signaling you that you need affection, nutrients, minerals, God? Are you sad because you enjoy being sad, or are you sad because you want something to help you feel better? Find the wanting and make it choosing to feel better. Okay? It doesn't matter what your face looks like. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Things change. Your face can change. Your body can change. Your life can change instantly for the better. But it's up to you to not bring that negative existence that you have lived in and that you allow your mind to throw you into so that you can feel like chaos and feel like you're alive. Put that aside. And instead, listen. It ain't going to be easy. It's absolutely not going to be easy the first time, second time, third time. I'm going to be 43 in a few days, and it still isn't easy. I had a hug from my mom and my grandma a week ago, and I broke down crying. I would not let go because it was the first time I've gotten a hug in almost a year. Shortly after that, I had to go to the dentist, and I think one of the fillings has fallen out, and I have to go back again. And mind you, with CPTSD and being in the dentist chair, it ain't fun because that situation asks to trust completely two other human beings with sharp metal things. But yet I had that experience, and I'm going to probably have to have it again later. Why? Personally, I'm starting to think that it's because I've been longing for human connection. So my mind has been trying to work like a child, trying to give me what I need by putting me into situations where I'm forced to trust that people aren't trying to hurt me. So don't get to that point. If you're in your 20s, recognize it now from someone in their 40s. I could have done this 20 years ago. I could have started hormone transitioning therapies. I could have, had I known, I could have taken better care of my body. I would have taken better care of my family. I would have been present more. But I could not. Because my mind was telling me everyone hated me. I wasn't loved. Everyone was attacking me. I deserved to die. I deserved to be in pain. The anxiety was punishment for what I was thinking. The pain and diseases were punishment for what I was thinking and doing and feeling. It was like a child being beaten up by life and by God to the point where I couldn't even trust God. And I'm telling you, it's all a trick of the mind. I have to go. Please take care of yourself. I will be back later looking a little more presentable, but I wanted to come to you like this because I don't want you to be feeling like everybody on the internet is so prim and proper and made up that there's no real people in the world, because it creates a fake society. Hate it, love it, I don't give a fuck. This is what I'm working with for now, okay? What you're working with is what you're working with. Love yourself. Really love yourself. Feel that emotion of love, of Christ, of your messenger, of your Messiah, of your God, whatever you want to call him, her, it, them. Feel love. And it's going to hurt and it's going to be sad and it's going to be whatever, but keep feeling it until you're okay. If you need me, I'm here. I'm just an email away. I'm just a comment on YouTube away. I love you. Take care of yourself.